The Menopause Dialogue. Hashtag you and me. Sharing, living, loving freely.
Hi, I'm Patrice.
Hi, I am Shay, and welcome to
Menopause, the Dialogue. We're so glad you're here.
Yes, we certainly are. Just pardon us for starting just a few minutes late, but guess what? We are here. And so if you're streaming with us for the first time live, this is a year-long show where we embark on the menopausal journey of a woman from start to finish. And our goals here on the show is really to educate you, to empower you, and to just encourage you to make sure that you have the tools to help you to understand and, of course, take charge of this menopausal journey. And our hashtags here on Menopause the Dialogues are hashtag you and me, also hashtag sisters share. Welcome to Menopause the Dialogue.
And we live stream twice a month on the second and the fourth Monday of every month, starting exactly at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And ladies, we're inviting you, share, share, share. There is another woman out there who can use what we're talking about. Our goal is no woman should be left alone to go through her menopausal journey. So we're here. So we're linking arms with you. We're encouraging you to link arms with other sisters, and let's help a sister out. And today, growing up, I always heard the term that what you don't know won't hurt. But Shay, in fact, what you don't know actually can cost you tremendously. And especially for us as women as we go through our menopausal journey.
Wow.
And today, as Shay and I take a deep dive into menopause and food and how food affects us, and how food affects our symptoms to make them worse or better, we're inviting you to stay tuned with us. Because what is on your plate matters. It affects your hormones. And Shay, there has been a study that I know you have took some notes about. Please, I can't wait for you to share those notes that I know you have there.
Yes, Patrice. In fact, there was a study published in the Epidemiology and Community Health, a study that actually showed if you eat a certain group or type of foods, you actually had the opportunity to, well, not necessarily the opportunity, you can actually go into menopause a lot earlier. And in the analysis of this particular study, it actually showed that women that ate a fairly good diet, foods that were like fish, high in good and fatty oils, also raw leafy greens, legumes, fresh foods, you actually were at a better rate to start menopause, which you would refer to as on time, not necessarily earlier. And the study also showed that women that actually ate a diet that was high in refined carbs, the white starches, the pasta, the white rice, those women, not only that they would start menopause a little bit earlier, but in some cases, somewhere up to a year and a half, and in some cases up to 3 years earlier, Patrice. So, what's on your plate?
Listen, it really does matter. And before we go into our fishbowl question, you saying that reminded me, I was watching a video with one of the doctors who was talking about a number of studies. And did you know that normally, way back then, women started having, or young girls started having menstruation around 17, 18.
Yes.
It's just in our modern world now, our girls, we start off 10, 11 and 12. But because of the diet, what was this? The study was showing and making the analogy. It is pure because of how we eat. Why as young girls now we're starting off so early. But and what he did was he made the analogy about, and if we understand the intelligence system of our body, at 10 or 11, we're not ready to be mothers.
No, not even emotionally. Think about the emotional side.
No, we are not ready yet to be mothers. So what he was saying made so much sense about the correlation with these research that, you know what, it's about 17, 18 that used to be what was the time.
And I'm exactly an example of that, Patrice, because my cycle didn't come on until I was 15. Yeah, that's right. Yep, I was a late bloomer. But, you know, I have 4 daughters. And, you know, I can remember one of my daughter's cycles starting as early as 11 and 12. So it has changed. It has changed.
I'm trying to remember now, because I was in junior high school. Okay. I will never forget.
You probably was about 12 or 13 as well.
No.
You wasn't there.
No. I'm late for everything.
You too late.
Yeah, late.
This was a late system.
I remember we were having assembly at S.C. McPherson Junior High School when it came down.
Wow.
And it was like, oh my goodness, I heard everybody talk about it. And everybody around me had periods except me.
Yeah. And you know, there's also another thing too is a lot of us, especially us during our age, even though ours came on later, we didn't come up with a generation where our parents talked about us what to expect. However, in the generation that you and I are in, we talk to our children. Yes. So you see there's some similarities but a lot of differences. Yeah. But you know, when it comes to eating, you know, people say, you know, we're still eating the same thing. You know, the fact of the matter is, you know, we're not eating the same thing. The whole landscape food have changed, you know, from the soil, how we grow our food, what we put in it to cause it to grow. Everything has changed. And so we have to now be of a mindset that food does matter. It does.
And by you saying that, I am pulling the first question out of our fishbowl shape. And the question is, what should the eating lifestyle of a menopausal woman look like and why?
Good question, Patrice. Now, I listen, the thing is, menopause, unlike hormonal balances, is slightly different. Menopause is a natural occurrence, what happens to the female body. And so because we have this decline in our sex hormones, we have to find ways to compensate for that. And compensation is through our diet. So when we are in decline, our body is starting to lose a lot of the nutrients naturally that the body needs to survive, that the body needs to function, that the body needs to do. Just all of the stuff the body does.
Because when we're not sleeping, we're losing nutrients, when we're not resting. I mean, there's so many things that cause us to be stripped.
Yeah, so many things. And in addition to the decline of the sex hormones, our body has to find a way. So during this time, I know sometimes we take that casual attitude like, oh, you know, whatever it is, you know, but if you are, and I know Patrice and I can definitely speak to this, if you are a menopausal woman and you have not started in some way to change your diet, you are definitely going to feel the symptoms and you're going to feel the results of having a deficiency when it comes to your diet. It is truly important because when the body naturally goes through that decline, even when you look at supplements, Patrice, you notice they have supplements for the 40 plus, the 50 plus, the male, the female.
Because the reality is our body is going through changes. When you were peaking with your estrogen and they were normal, and now that your estrogen is doing the deep dive and the going up and the down, it affects our calcium, and it affects our bones. That's why at a certain stage in our menopausal journey, you know, there's so many things, there's so many things that are affected, and the more we are educated about it, we know how to help ourselves. I know even as far as fatigue, we're always, let me tell you something, normally we know we need B vitamins.
Yes, normally, right?
But during the time of menopause, when you're not resting like you should, and then we have sometimes for some of us, we've got these crazy cravings that drive us in another direction.
Completely another direction.
And then the cortisol decides to turn on, and you start putting, and then there's a lot of emotional stuff that comes with it.
And a lot of it. And even when we think why, Patrice, in addition to that is, let me tell you, our body is an intelligent being. And when we are not giving our body what it actually needs, it starts to rob the skeletal system, the bone, the skin of the nutrients just for you to have the energy that you need to survive. So whether you go into the store and get that energy drink, that's only going to tie you over for the moment, but it's not going to do anything for the sustenance of how you feel and how your body moves. So when you think of the menopausal woman, the man that's going through andropause, it is super, super seriously important that you actually look at nutrients and change the quality of your food.
Yes, and
Yeah.
again, quality of food.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because, and let me give you a good example of quality of food. Because sometimes, we have our clients and they tell you they eat well.
Right.
And then when they tell you they eat well, I had some pasta today and some chicken and a salad.
Right.
And
then you ask them what in the salad.
Yeah, what in the salad.
Ham.
But we're going to talk about some of the foods later on.
Yeah,
but even when we look at those foods, the quality, what kind of chicken is that? Is it filled with hormone?
Right.
The pasta.
Where you buy that lettuce from?
The pasta hasn't been stripped, hasn't been fortified. The like you say, the veggies.
Yeah.
Are they genetically modified? Are they non-toxic? There's so many things when we talk about the quality. And again, there's a scripture that comes to my mind: my people perish for the lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And knowledge will not come from, it comes from you going after deliberately, because we live in a world, honestly, where there's a lot of marketing lies. Honestly. And so if you don't go after truth for you, you will buy into a lot of things that are not necessarily true.
Right.
And I
do the fingers
because
we know.
I remember when I had an accident and I was at home. During that time, there was a company, two companies that sell chicken. One took the other one to court because they put on their label natural chicken.
Right.
And those chicken were being fed the hormones, etc., etc. And it was a marketing ploy because chicken is chicken. Chicken is a natural thing.
Right.
But the people who were selling organic chicken, their thing was, we're feeding them right, we're doing this right. But when you put that label on, you're trying to deceive.
Trickery.
Yeah, right. And mind you, chicken is natural.
Yeah.
But it's what they were doing with the chicken. And so the more you know, the more we know, the more we can help ourselves.
Yeah.
Now,
I like that. Yeah, because chicken is a natural thing. I love that.
Yeah. Chicken is chicken. If you see chicken walk across there,
chicken.
A chicken is a chicken is a chicken. But what kind of quality chicken is that?
Right.
Some chicken you want to let go past you.
Yeah.
Some you want to kill.
Kill in a good way, right?
Killing me. Yeah. I would say killing me. Okay, let me go to our second question. Okay, our second fishbowl question is, what are the trigger 10 foods that have the worst effects on our hormones and why?
Wow, I love that. And I created the trigger 10 list, right, Patrice?
Yes.
Let me tell you something. When it comes to foods that trigger, that offset these symptoms, we have to be so aware of them. In this journey, for me personally, I could tell you all the foods that cause me to trigger because, you're paying attention. You're on this journey. This journey is going to be several, good years. You want to make sure that you're paying close attention to what triggers you. But when we look at just a general idea, Patrice and I, for Menopause and Dialogue, we came up with a list called the Trigger 10 list. And this list is foods that are associated with menopause symptoms. So we'll put it on the screen right now and read that list to you. Now, when it comes to these foods, alcohol happens to be one of the first ones, Patrice.
Yes.
Alcohol, and we'll go over them and break them down, but alcohol, dairy, caffeine, sugar, artificial sweeteners, because there's a separation, highly refined carbs, processed meats, simple high GI carbs, spicy foods, and saturated and hydrogenated fats. Yes. Okay, so that's our list, but we're going to break that down. I just wanted to show you that list there, but we're going to break that down when it comes to the foods. And first of all, listen to me. Let me be the first to say, sugar share your girl, right? Every once in a while, you know, outside of a holiday,
This is
I want to
coffee. Oh, this is coffee or
No, it's alcohol.
Okay.
You know, I'm being transparent here. You know, and again, all of this here is a part of the wisdom that you also use because, you know, I have alcohol from time to time. And the fact of the matter is, I can tell you, since I've started going through menopause, them times is few and apart, but every now and again, your girl just wants a glass of red wine. And I just added some to that list too. But we ain't talk about that right now because like Patrice would say, she digressed. But the thing is this, if you are going to drink alcohol, let me tell you, especially during menopause, you want to make that far few and apart because it is a trigger. And the symptoms can be completely different for each person that it triggers.
Hot flashes.
It can be, yeah, for me it's
hot flash.
Okay, off the record, let me just say, I told our producer, right? I said, listen, you don't, when you see me start to roll with sweat, I say go to a commercial break. Let me tell you why. Because my stress level today had been, you know, and you know, a lot of things is happening. And I when it comes to my family, you know, the emotional side of that for me, you know, sometimes we're strong in the whole ordeal, but the body still keeps score. And so, the body still and so, score, right? You know, to my girls, they're not all 100%, but they will be 100%. And so my body was just really responding. So I tell the producer, I said, listen, either you're going to turn off these lights, or the minute you feel I have a trigger, you go to commercial break. So all of a sudden you see me going to a commercial break, y'all bear with me because my girls are not 100%. Girls, mommy love y'all. Y'all, you know, get well and be well. So alcohol is one of them. That's one of the first triggers.
Yes.
The next one is I'm going to talk about caffeine because you can go to dairy. I'm going to talk about caffeine because, hey y'all, I'm a coffee drinker. But I'm going to tell you today, I've merged, you know. First of all, if you are going to drink coffee, and cacao, which we know is hot chocolate. Let me say this, because I'm a coffee girl and I am a cacao girl. And both of these natural food sources, they have caffeine. But here's something that you need to know. When it comes to one of the most highly sprayed and pesticides and herbicides crops in the world, coffee and cacao happens to be those foods. So when you think of coffee and cacao, you want to make sure first you're getting it organically. Then secondly, you want to make sure that you're doing good coffee and good cacao.
Quality
coffee.
That's why quality again is important.
Yeah, don't buy cheap coffee. You know, buy the good coffee. And in addition to that, there are other teas that I've added into my diet. Patrice knows I do a lot of chaga and gano. I do a lot of oolong tea. I do a lot of Earl Grey. So I mix my combination of what I need in terms of my coffee and even my green tea. I mix it with a little bit of yerba mate to get my caffeine buzz. Because I still need caffeine. That's what she was saying.
Yeah, they're addicted.
But yeah, I'm a little addicted. But I recognize that it's a trigger, and I can honestly say I do it very responsibly. Like right now, you know what? We're going to bring Patrice on, and she's going to talk about dairy right after this commercial.
Okay, that means she is having a hot flash.
You have to say I already said it.
Your health is your wealth. Protect it. Ladies, your sanitary napkins should be 100% organic cotton, unscented and fragrance-free, unbleached and chlorine-free, free of pesticide residue, safe for you and the planet. If your sanitary napkins does not make the grade, it does not deserve to be where you place it. Make the switch.
Okay, now that Shay has, cleaned up all of the sweat, the sweat. I know I'm not very nice, but that's okay.
I love
Hey, we're all in that menopause thing, so we know.
We all are.
But the second food that...
This is third one.
Yeah, because we did talk about caffeine and we did talk about alcohol.
Yeah.
Dairy products. Listen here. Dairy products are dangerous for us, hormonal women, because of the hormones that are already in dairy products. Our estrogen is already doing its own thing. And the last thing our body needs is for us, is for us to add more, I'm laughing. She's having another hot flash.
No, this is the same hot flash, because you brought it on.
Wow. Okay.
That's these lights. As you know, our producer right there laughing, but I don't give a
But Julie, all of us been watching it. We're all home.
It was fine. Go ahead, talk, honey. Go ahead.
But one of the things, you can do that. They can see you do that.
Yeah.
One of the things about any kind of dairy, cheese especially, and I just had a Greek salad just the other day, and I love the Greek salad.
Wow, what cheese is on the Greek salad?
I can't remember the name of it, but
Feta.
Feta, right. I was just asked that the other day. I was like, oh, I don't remember, but I love this cheese.
Right.
And the cheese to me is so good. I am also a Bahamian. I grew up eating macaroni and cheese. And like this year, I've had macaroni and cheese once for the year. And because I know what it does to me,
that's staple.
I understand that I have to be disciplined.
Right.
As much as I'm a Bahamian and I love macaroni and cheese, I am not going to. Okay, I'm told we're going to go to commercial break so we could get it.
Are you a mature woman? Do you think you could be perimenopausal and experiencing so many changes on your period, like longer cycles, heavier bleeding, vaginal dryness, and even a strange odor at times? Well, we're asking you to make the switch and experience the difference with our 100% organic sanitary napkins with ultra soft cotton surfaces that is toxic free, fragrance free, bleach free, and eliminate odors. Experience your period in a whole new all-natural comfort. So if you are a mature woman and could be starting perimenopause, make the switch and your body will thank you. Period. More than 50% of mature adults living in the Bahamas and the Caribbean show visible signs of photoaging due to sun exposure. Nowadays, in addition to the sun, there are other factors that can contribute to old-looking skin, such as bad Bahamian average diet, constant stress, excessive alcohol consumption, not enough sleep, and yes, even smoking. If you truly want to look significantly younger and more attractive, one must take a holistic approach along with a daily skincare restorative routine. With that said, do you want amazing, super soft, tight-looking skin, revitalizing your uneven skin tone and dull complexion? Well, this already liked superfood now has a new look for inside and outside. It's Sea Moss Gel. So whether you're a mature woman or man, say hello to your skin's new best friend. Glowing Skin Sea Moss Gel Facial Mask. Available now.
Do you know what you are putting on your skin? 93% of wrinkle creams and body lotions contain dangerous ingredients. Some cause more damage than good. Many skincare ingredients can actually cause more wrinkles on your face and body. Look at your labels. Can't pronounce the ingredients? Join the club. More than 85 of the most common skincare ingredients in North America are either banned or on the blacklist in Europe. Ever wonder why some European brands are so much more expensive? Many of them use natural ingredients instead of cheap chemicals. Ingredients that feed your skin instead of aging your skin. There is one brand that has gained attention because it uses a centuries-old blend. A blend that has been used since the time of Cleopatra. A Mediterranean blend used to keep her face and body looking much younger and beautiful. The same time-tested blend is now available to you. It's called Pure Garden Serum. This 100% organic serum is a sophisticated blend of organic plants and gentle oils, like organic almond seed, organic sesame seed oil, organic calendula, and many other organic plants and essential oils designed to target the signs of aging, along with a highly concentrated blend of organic plant stem cells from widely studied, clinically proven arnica plant. When you have the right type of plant stem cells, they can help boost your skin cells to reduce the appearance of deep wrinkles, fine lines, age spots, and even skin discoloration on both the face and all over the body.
Hi, and we are back. Please excuse us, usually there's technical difficulties. We're having menopausal difficulties today. I love it!
difficulty.
Yeah.
So you were talking about dairy, right?
products.
Yeah. Talking about dairy.
One of the things that is so important for us to recognize is that dairy products have hormones in them. As long as they're coming from that cow has the hormones. And I was watching something where when these extra estrogens enter into our body, see, our bodies produce its own level of estrogen that we need. And especially during menopause, sometimes we go down, sometimes we go up. But when we have this excess estrogen going through our body, the liver that's responsible for taking this, cleaning it out of the blood system, it sends it into the bile. Am I correct? Yeah, it's a bile. And then it goes into the intestine. Now, when all of this extra estrogen hormones go into sends it into the intestine, it's so that our bodies could get rid of it. But if you don't have fiber, and the fiber from the plants, some plant source, what ends up happening is it ends up going back and being recycled right into the blood system. And so all of these foods that we eat, like the dairy that has all of these hormones already, we need to stay away. They trigger our symptoms. They make your symptoms worse. And as simple as pulling dairy out makes a big difference.
Yeah, and in addition to that too, Patrice, even when we look at dairy, that's, for me, when I do dairy organic. That's one thing. And then secondly is if you're going to do dairy, make sure you add, this is what Patrice was talking about in terms of how the body circulate the additional hormones from the actual food. You want to make sure that you attach, anytime you eat fat or dairy, you want to attach it to a high fiber plant food, because that fiber acts like a catalyst, and it draws it out and takes it out of the bloodstream and out of the body, so it doesn't just recirculating, waiting for what you call an attachment or a catalyst to draw it out. So just like how you have vitamins that need to be attached to minerals for it to do what it needs to do, it's the same thing when it comes to food, especially if you find yourself being triggered by a certain food. And in addition to that, dairy is actually considered a very complex food. So the human body really, believe it or not, is not really designed after age between 2 or 3 to digest animal dairy. And so really we should not even be consuming dairy. So if we find ourselves in the category during menopause, if you find yourself with that struggle with dairy, you want to switch over to organic dairy. Make sure you are using dairy that is grown without pesticides and herbicides and all of the hormones. Plus, in addition to that, is you want to make sure that these cows are grass-fed and these are wild cows as well. Even sheep, whatever animals that you're using. And in addition to that, is you want to minimize the dairy and make it more like your first, second meal. Try to stay away from it in the evening time, because that's usually when the body will start the triggers on the onset of getting ready to go to sleep. So food does matter when it comes to the plate.
Even our protein, the protein source is so important. Again, when we're dealing with these cow, or even like you said sheep.
Yeah, the sheep.
Yeah, right. They discussed it.
No, that's right. You done put me on the thing. I'm for my menopause now. You put me on for plural. Hey, that's right. But you know what? They're going to be after the show. That's all I'm saying.
By the way, I had my cake on my birthday. She did me well.
Yeah, I did her well.
Oh, let me just, I digress, but listen, thank you. She made my birthday a wonderful experience. You know what? We had our little party. I didn't even realize she was going to go through all that trouble. So thank you.
Wasn't no trouble at all.
Okay, so we can do it again this evening?
No, the answer is no. So on that note, we're going to also add in whether we have processed meat, you have spicy food. Let's kind of talk about processed meat a little bit, because this is one of my pet peeves, right? Listen, first of all, we talked about the organic side of dairy. So we're also talking about the organic side when it comes to meat too. But in addition to that, if you are going to eat meat, eat whole meat. Stay away from potted meats. And let me just say this, because culturally we think that if we do a potted sausage that made from beef, it's much better than a potted sausage that made from pork. The answer is no. Potted meat, processed meat. Go ahead, Patricia, you needed to say something.
I always say, you ever see any sausage running around the place? You ever see any hot dog running around the place? I know God created the cow, the sheep, the ox, But I never see any hot dog. I never saw a
sausage.
I never saw a sausage running around. Just saying.
And in addition to that, potted meats have a lot of preservative and additives because when you think of the nitrates, when you think of the nitrates, when you think of formaldehyde, when you think of the colors, the preservatives, the dyes, you want to stay away from potted meat because the actual process of a potted meat is, and the ingredients of it is what starts to trigger on the onset of symptoms. So you definitely want to stay away from potted meat. Potted meats is,
and when you look at what they're made up of,
the casing for some of these things, even when I found out the other day, right, you know how they have a lot of these vegan potted meats. Some of the vegan potted meats, they encase with a pork, a pork encasing. So listen, take your mushrooms and make your burger, or just buy a whole organic chicken. So when you look at them, now we mentioned
that grass-fed beef.
Yeah, there's grass-fed beef.
But you also have to make sure with those grass-fed beef, they haven't been given anything.
Right.
There's so much. Unfortunately, today we can't just kill and eat like before.
Right.
You really have to do your own research as to what's in your food that you're putting in your body. Yes, it may take a little more time.
In the beginning, yes.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it is worth it. Just try to stay to whole meats, because really, when you look at potted meats, right now, listen, if you go into the average grocery store, listen to me, you got every brand of someone making a type of potted meat to look more appealing, to taste different. There's a lot out there, but the fact is you don't know all of the ingredients, and whenever you have a food that is highly processed and refined, it takes a lot more to keep it and to make it look like that. So
it's stripped. It's stripped. So much of it is artificial stuff put together, or the worst of the worst. We had a conversation, I won't even talk about it on there. There was a conversation the other day about what was in a potted meat.
I had the opportunity to do a tour of a major company. I won't call the name, this was back in the day, and that was the beginning of me not having hot dogs anymore. I just want to say BOLOGNA. That's all I want to say. All right, so let's look at simple high GI carbs. Now, let me tell you, the reason why we did this Trigger 10 list the way it is, and we didn't put food, but we put a category of foods, because there are a lot of foods that sometimes come under a category. Because I recognize sometimes when you're talking to people, if you say bread and then you don't say pasta, they'll say, well, she didn't say pasta. And technically, it's all refined white flour carbs. And so when you look at the high GI carb foods, the GI represents the glycemic index, and these are foods that can spike the index. Now again, you are considered a menopausal female or a male that is going through andropause, and when you are looking again at the hormone insulin, that's another hormone that we have to be concerned about. When we eat high glycemic index food, it causes our insulin levels to go up. When the insulin level goes up, we gain weight. When we gain weight, we have other symptoms that are associated with the whole idea of eating high glycemic foods, and particularly carbs. And so that is the white flour, the white rice. Most of these foods are stripped and then they are enriched. And most of the times if you read the labels, you will see enriched, and that's because they take out the natural sauce, or they do what they call degerminate the food. So they take out all of the natural vitamins and minerals that are naturally occurring in the husk, and then they replace it with synthetics. And the reason for that is so it'll have a longer shelf life on the shelf.
And a lot of that's so important. One of the things, because I know I did do a session where I help people to understand what these terms mean. Because we go in the food store, we see enriched, we see an organic, 100% organic. We see all these different terminologies, non-GMO, GMO, but it's up to us to understand what they mean. This body you have been given as a gift, and you should know what you're putting in there. I personally, for me, gone are the days when we could trust any commercial that tells us to eat this food or go in the store because it looks good. You want to know why you should eat that, or what's in there. How's that going to benefit you if you eat it?
Especially during this time, during menopause, because the thing is, sometimes we are experiencing all of these symptoms and we say things like, I don't know what's going on. and we don't pay that much attention to just the food. And this is why we are diving deep into the foods today, because they do matter. They matter on sometimes how many symptoms you have, how long you have the symptoms, in addition to the external stuff, like stress and some of the other things we talk about. The internal stuff, which we have major control over, is the food. And the food has changed, and because it's changed, it's important that we do our research. And the thing is, we know sometimes if you look at all of this information as one big pie, it can be daunting. But what we're saying is, you want to start somewhere. You want to start somewhere and just look at better quality foods. And one of the quickest and easiest ways is try to buy foods in its whole form. Even if you want corn, I have this series that I did many years ago called Good, Better, Best. And the best is always fresh. Then when you call in between that, it's frozen. And then when you call the least, it is canned. So one of the things you want to always look at, if you are not sure about anything, try to buy as much whole food as you possibly can when it comes to food in general.
Yes, the food, again, what is on our plate matters.
Yeah.
And what we are trying to do today is to get you to make those connections. Make those connections between your food and what's going on in your body. It makes the difference with your symptoms, how severe they are. And we have women who go through menopause and they sail through menopause.
Yeah.
Then we have women who have the challenges.
Plenty challenges. Yeah. And you want me to tell you something, Patrice? I feel like I'm sailing through menopause, I really am. Let me tell you why I say that, because what I recognize is, okay, if you have one or two symptoms that seems exacerbated, right? That it seems like, oh my goodness, I have them in a lot. Let me tell you what I recognize. Then you have some women saying things like, I feel like I'm losing my mind.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah, when you
and
start
so
to compare,
when you start to compare, that's why I
understand.
say too is, let me tell you something, even in this journey, don't compare. Because sometimes you have women, they'll say things like, oh me, I don't go through menopause because they don't have any hot flashes. Because hot flashes just happens to be one of those symptoms that a lot of women know, and because they don't have hot flashes, it's one of the more common symptoms that we talk about. They feel like they don't have any other symptoms. Some women, they are irritable, they're snappy, they have anxiety, they
thyroid is swelling and they don't even realize why.
What's
Sometimes
happening?
they're putting on weight around here and they don't understand why. Some lose their sex drive.
Right.
I just had a conversation
Exactly.
this week. She was like, "Oh, that's why."
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, because she was telling me she put on so much weight around here, and I had her to watch some of our videos, and she was talking. She said, "No sex." I'm like, "Yeah, all of that."
So when you compare Patrice, I'd rather have hot flashes than have a fire around my belly. No sex. Well, in this case, but let's skip that one. Can't sleep at night. And another thing, losing your hair, pimples, excessive dry skin. I mean, the list goes on and on. We just want to say,
make you feel the
feel like
one
you're
where you're
losing
losing
your
your mind thing, and
the equilibrium going off. Remember when you and I had it where we was like dizzy at a certain time, and all of this is related to a decline in the sex hormones. And so this is a part of the journey, understanding there is a vast difference between the menopausal symptoms and hormonal imbalances, two different. And so sometimes when a female is talking about their hormones being imbalanced, but they've not yet started menopause, it is two different things. Because in most cases, when you have a hormonal imbalance, it is due to external stuff that is happening. With some things you might be taking, the stress, medication, side effects from those things that can cause a hormonal imbalance. But menopause is a natural process, and this show is really to give you the tools to help you to go through this very as smooth as you possibly can.
And again, we're not saying by taking these out you will have no symptoms. I want to stress that, Claire. Again, like Shay said, it's a natural process. We're going to go through it, but what we do during this process can make it a bit easier, or sometimes we don't have to deal with some of the symptoms because we're doing certain things. And like I've learned with my body, there's certain things, once I did certain things, I'm okay. Like I told you with the heart palpitations, the things that I did. And each time, and for me, every time I start to deal with symptoms, I had to learn how to deal with it for my body.
Right.
You know, and many times I just had to go through a number of different things until I got my the result I was looking for.
Right.
But what else, Shay, do we have? Because we talked about caffeine, we
Yeah.
talked about alcohol, we talked about dairy products,
The
we talked about
spicy
the meat.
foods, the spicy food. Again, all of these foods, we're breaking down some of them, but all of these foods, they're considered triggers. So these foods are from the list Teresa and I created called the 10,
The Trigger 10.
the Trigger 10
Yes.
list. And this list is associated with foods that can really bring on the symptoms of menopause even more. And so pay attention to these foods. Now, there are other factors, but today we're diving in deep into the food aspect of how it affects menopause. So even spicy foods, yes, I'm a spice girl. My brother makes the best pepper sauce in the world, H&H Hepburn pepper sauce, putting it out there. And girl, I know that is trigger, but listen, let me tell you what I had today. I had a little bit of pepper in my tea, and my son says, who puts pepper in their tea, right? And I know I was going to have the show. So on top of the external stuff I was dealing with my children and some other stuff, I turned around and drank pepper today and tea. And then I turned around and did some other stuff, you know.
Okay.
I took some medication. I had to because I was in a lot of pain. I had an incident, and so everything you see me dealing with today is directly correlated to what was happening externally. And in order to sit here and do this show, I had to take some painkillers. I certainly did, because it had nothing to do with menopause, but the effect of even me taking these painkillers is causing me to deal with a lot of emotional stuff. And it's you know, you all can see it on camera, we didn't have 2 breaks. We didn't have 2 breaks.
What about high salt?
Yeah,
salts too.
I didn't necessarily put that on that list here, Patrice, because there's a lot of research out there when it comes to salt. But let me tell you what I've learned more than anything else. You know, because all salt is not equal.
Yeah.
And when it comes to nutrients, salt is a natural process that our body needs to absorb nutrients, right? It's just that when coming from our culture, we only use iodized salt. We use salt that we're not supposed to be using, table salt. So technically, if you're not using table salt and you're using salt that is naturally occurring, like Celtic salt, Himalayan pink salt. I even do a combination of, you know, the island salt. Listen, we really, here in the Bahamas, we really shouldn't be importing no salt. Just saying. But, you know, there are other
You know
salts in
that
the
salt
mountains.
and morning salt is our salt.
Yeah,
Off, then refined and come back.
I think every Bahamian knows that, yeah. But the fact is, a lot of us still go into the food store and buy it. So even when it comes to the salt, again, this is just one of those things. If you're using real salt and you're using it in conjunction with eating all of the herbs and stuff, you'll be fine. But when you're using just table salt, just all the time, that's where the problem comes in. Or you're using a lot of canned foods, which is high in sodium. That's where the problem comes in. But again, we tie it into eating more whole foods. Even when you think of the saturated and the hydrogenated fats, again, you want to stay to, listen, there are something is known as trans fat. And this is what happens to the food when you process it, right? It turns it into what you refer to as like a rancid fat that the body cannot use. It can clog the arteries. It can cause the cholesterol levels to be imbalanced, right? Your total triglyceride. So you want to stay away from these fats. And things like margarine, canola oil, all of these types of fats. Try to stay into your monounsaturated fats. You want good oils. You want the omega-3 and the 6-9 ratio balance. That's important. And this is one of the reasons why I said when you're buying a supplement, especially if you're going through menopause, buy a complete supplement. Why? Because you don't have to figure out, should I have more of this, should I have more of that? It has the recommended daily allowance on it, and then you just take one serving. Okay. But one of the more difficult things is, sorry, Patrice?
Can you bring us a complete supplement?
Yeah, that's a complete, meaning all the vitamins and all the minerals. That is, when you're talking about the nutrients, the micronutrients, all of the vitamins that would be listed. Sometimes you would find people, they would say, well, I bought extra vitamin C, or I bought a B12, or I bought. When you're supplementing, keep in mind, it is supplementation, what you're supposed to be adding to your food. But particularly during menopause, you want to buy a complete, which is a complete multivitamin and mineral formula. Why? Because the recommended daily allowance in there. It tells you what to take it, and then you don't have to be trying to figure out all of these other things. Now, when you do have a diagnosis, you've gone to your healthcare provider and they said there's a deficiency in an area. At that particular time, you can add in whatever that nutrient is. Add it into along with your complete supplement, and then you take it for a period of time. Like for instance, an example is during the summertime, during the winter time, when I start to prepare for the winter time, I immediately start to give my children and myself extra vitamin C. Vitamin C is already in my supplement, but I know I'm preparing my body, and I refer to it as a loading phase. Now, because I'm going through menopause, when I have high stress times in my life, immediately I increase all of my B vitamins. B vitamins are known as your stress vitamins. They attach to minerals, and you attach them to vitamin C. And I will take extra B vitamins along with my complete vitamins. And I do that intentionally because my body is taking on the stress. And that's how you allow your body to go through it without robbing the bones of the calcium and everything that you need in order to help the body to manage the stress and to help the body energy to stay sustained. But my recommendation when it comes to supplements is always a complete supplement which is attached to vitamins and minerals.
Also plant-based.
Yeah, plant-based. But
not chemicals.
Yeah, this shit.
Yeah. Plant-based. Yes, there's a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference.
Okay, I just pulled a third one.
Go ahead.
A third question.
You said thorough?
Can you get it back to me? That was a tongue twister. The third question is, what is the role of consistency during menopause, and how does it tie in? Consistency.
Listen to me, that's a big word, but I promise you. You know, let me say this. My clients say sometimes if they come to me and if they happen to be going through menopause, and my male clients, andropause, and then they say something to me like, how long, Shay? Immediately I say to them, listen, this menopause, it's a journey. And when you're talking about feeding yourself, because we're diving in deep today and talking about how food really affects menopause and the symptoms that are associated with it when you're eating poorly, you have to change your mindset and make this a lifestyle commitment. So it's a consistency. You have to now say, okay, because I go into this thing and I want to feel better, I have to shift. And so consistency all the time, always,
matters.
It matters.
Yes.
You can't drop the ball at no time.
And one of the things too with consistency, and I took some notes here and I shared with Shay.
Yes.
Because when it comes to consistency, see, menopause, just like Shay said, it's a journey. For some of us, it's a 10-year, 8-year, 7-year, 6-year, 5-year, 4-year, 3-year, 2-year, and then for some, they sail through it. And even if you sail through menopause, you still ought to be doing the things to take care of your body. Not because your body's not turned up on high, means that you're not going through, menopause.
Right.
And I learned that, like for me, my journey to actually lose weight permanently happened from December of the year before, because I remember that was the first Christmas. I didn't eat what I normally would eat. And then I went into all of last year. I changed my eating. I love, like the carbs that I love. Give me some chocolate cake and I
she's happy.
Yes. I'm not tempted with a whole lot of other stuff, but give me some good chocolate cake or good cakes. I mean, good cakes, real cakes, and I'm good. I'm not a peas and rice person, but if you give me mashed potato made from real potatoes, we're down. And there are certain things that I literally have had to cut out. I decided I am not going to be fat. I am not coming out of my menopausal journey with a bunch of weight, and we put the weight on. Hands down. I looked at someone I spoke to this week, and just looking at, she doesn't even look like the same person. And sometimes, like I know, just like mine, I put on weight gradually, but then the weight that came on at one point, I just mushroomed
I like that terminology, mushroom.
Yeah, I
ready to
I
eat
did.
now. You said mushroom.
I just mushroomed. It just mushroomed, and it was difficult to deal with emotionally. And I remember looking at you when I got it last year, when we were going through, and we had a competition going on for the whole year.
Yeah, you said that.
The whole year. And one of the things I learned was that really consistency mattered, but I had to get it up here. And I remember watching Shay. One of the things about Shay, if you don't know Shay and I come from way back then. Shay had some weight on her.
Say it again.
Shay had weight on her.
Yeah, people don't. Yeah, they don't.
Listen here.
My thighs rub. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My thighs rub. I'm just saying, that's just for me. Just being able to say it, just.
And what I like about Shay, what has been my motivation, is Shay has been consistent for years. And when I decided, you know what, because I was battling for a number of years, just trying to figure out how to do this, how to get this off and get this consistent. And I kept on looking at Shay, and I kept on saying, boy, Shay is so consistent. Her weight is down, and she has kept it off all these years. But during last year, I looked at Shay, and one time I realized, wow, Shay is consistently working on it. We would do the 21-day healthy, the 21-day cleanse. We would do the juice thing. We do different things.
We would do intermittent fasting.
And when I realized that, I was like, wow, Shay's weight didn't just come off and stay off all this time. What I watched was that Shay was always consistently working. If there was no magic pill, she has been working at it. And I developed, watching Shay, I realized, so I just got to be consistent, because I could lose weight when I'm ready.
Yeah, she could. She
could be all size 4. Then, my granddaddy used to say, how catch the news? Food would catch the news. And then, I go through my phases, and then I get depressed with this menopause, trying to figure out why this is happening like this, etc. But Shay has been that mirror I've been able to look into and see, she does the 21-day. She does the intermittent fasting. She does the keto. In fact, I want to ask you, I need for the next 2 weeks for us to go on a juice fast 3 times a day. And I always need a support with me.
That's
a support helps. Last year we had a group, Box Fit Nation, and we stayed for the entire year.
In our week going. That was awesome.
We were challenging each other, and the only thing we didn't do, we were supposed to
take some pictures,
take some photos.
COVID happened.
Yes,
we didn't
but
take pictures.
Again, consistency matters, but consistency means, first of all, you got to get it up here, because thinking that you're going to just do it for one time, no. Again, Shay is an example. Shay can tell you about her consistency. Thank God. Thank God.
We both have become examples, but Patrice, and the thing is, what Patrice does for me? She helps me to recognize even when I'm doing things, because I've switched, and when I say switch, I literally got it up here, Shay, as we continue to help people to heal, you're the healer, so you have to always make sure that you are at a place, I'm not always 100%, but I do my best, because sometimes when I have other stuff going on, and I tell someone afterwards, they'll say, Shay, but you was helping me do this, and you didn't say one thing. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you through it. But I'm also going to say this. Once I've been able to help you through that, before I go to bed, I'm going to find my space. I'm going to meditate, get myself back in line with Yahweh, and do what I have to do to start the morning. Because listen, when it comes to my clients and helping all of the queen sisters and brothers that come in my life, I like to be authentic. I like to be able to even share with them when I'm having a difficult time. But I can say this to you, during these years, I recognize in order for me to stay to a place holistically, I had to stay consistent. And because I'm an eater, if y'all know Shay, listen, I don't care what ain't paid in here. Food can be in this plate. I'm an eater. I love to eat. So
She
consistent
enjoys
yeah.
eating. If you've ever seen somebody enjoy eating, it's Charlene King.
You got your fishbowl.
We just dropped the fishbowl.
We just dropped the fishbowl here.
Yeah, I think I have it here.
You have it here.
Thank God. All right, next fishbowl question is talking about the mental, emotional, and mental position to have for eating going through menopause.
Yeah, that's the emotional side.
Where do you situate yourself and how do you get that to happen, Shay?
Yeah, we're going to talk about this one right after we come after the break, because we want to stay on this just a little bit longer, because the emotional side of menopause, when it comes to eating, it's a big thing. It's a big deal. So we're going to go to this break. You know what? We're going to go to this break, but please stay tuned. And in the meantime, share this video, the stream, because I'm sure our sister wants to be enjoying this. We'll see you right after the break.
More than 50% of mature adults living in the Bahamas and the Caribbean show visible signs of photoaging due to sun exposure. Nowadays, in addition to the sun, there are other factors that can contribute to old-looking skin, such as bad Bahamian average diet, constant stress, excessive alcohol consumption, not enough sleep, and yes, even smoking. If you truly want to look significantly younger and more attractive, one must take a holistic approach along with a daily skincare restorative routine. With that said, do you want amazing, super soft, tight-looking skin, revitalizing your uneven skin tone and dull complexion? Well, this already liked superfood now has a new look for inside and outside. It's Sea Moss Gel. So whether you're a mature woman or man, say hello to your skin's new best friend. Glowing Skin Sea Moss Gel Facial Mask. Available now.
Do you know what you are putting on your skin? 93% of wrinkle creams and body lotions contain dangerous ingredients. Some cause more damage than good. Many skincare ingredients can actually cause more wrinkles on your face and body. Look at your labels. Can't pronounce the ingredients? Join the club. More than 85 of the most common skincare ingredients in North America are either banned or on the blacklist in Europe. Ever wonder why some European brands are so much more expensive? Many of them use natural ingredients instead of cheap chemicals. Ingredients that feed your skin instead of aging your skin. There is one brand that has gained attention because it uses a centuries-old blend. A blend that has been used since the time of Cleopatra. A Mediterranean blend used to keep her face and body looking much younger and beautiful. The same time-tested blend is now available to you. It's called Pure Garden Serum. This 100% organic serum is a sophisticated blend of organic plants and gentle oils, like organic almond seed, organic sesame seed oil, organic calendula, and many other organic plants and essential oils designed to target the signs of aging, along with a highly concentrated blend of organic plant stem cells from widely studied, clinically proven arnica plant. When you have the right type of plant stem cells, they can help boost your skin cells to reduce the appearance of deep wrinkles, fine lines, age spots, and even skin discoloration on both the face and all over the body.
Chaga and Gano are medicinal mushrooms. They've been used in traditional Chinese and Japanese and Korean medicine for thousands of years. The Canadians and the Russians, they especially use the chaga in their medicine for cancer. Chaga and Gano are what scientists call adaptogenic herbs. Adaptogenic herbs are anything God has created that when you put it in your body, it does more than one thing. Whatever's too high in the body, pressure, cholesterol, sugar, your immune system is going to bring it down to where it needs to be. And whatever's too low is going to bring it up to where it needs to be. Chaga and Gano literally creates balance in the body. They clean and nourish the blood. They eliminate parasites out of the body. They help with vision, memory, and concentration issues. We have lots of people Chaga and Gano Gano helps to sleep. If you have issues and you get up in the morning and you're always tired, Chaga and Gano will give you energy on a daily basis. If you're constipated, you'll get cleared up. If you have circulation issues, we've seen persons with respiratory issues healed. We've seen persons with tumors healed. Open wounds that have been open for months at a time, Chaga and Gano has closed. Chaga and Gano again creates balance in the body. It acts as a tonic for the organs, the liver, the kidney, the nervous system, the heart, keeps the walls of the arteries clean. Chaga and Gano is very much like a one-stop shop for the body. We've had persons with arthritis pain and inflammation tell me they don't have those pains anymore. They're walking when they couldn't walk, now they go for walks, all using the Chaga and the Gano.
From my kitchen to yours, welcome to the new taste of sea moss gel. Create creamy milkshakes and superfood fortified weight loss green smoothies. 3 truly delicious flavors: Mint Majesty, Spice Fusion, and our summer flavor, Mango Splash. You're going to love the new taste of sea moss gel. Available at Shea King's Eat Emotionally Well in Nassau, Freeport, Andros, and Exuma.
Hi, we are back and welcome to Menopause, the Dialogue. Please remember to find a sister and who can use this information. We all, if there's one thing that we all do every day of our life, is that we eat. And like we said earlier, what's on our plate matters, especially as women, as we're going through this menopausal journey. The foods that we put in our body has an effect on us. And we're also asking you, for those of you who have products that our menopausal women can use, or the men who are going through their change of life, because they go through the change of life through too as well. If you have an ad, if you have a business that you can highlight various products that can be used during this phase of life, we are encouraging you, give us a call. There's a number on the screen that you can go to, email us or call us.
Yeah.
And we would be more than happy to work with you.
Yeah.
But just before we left, we're talking about the emotional and mental position that you need to take for menopause.
Yeah.
What is that? What does that look like in reality? What does that look like for you?
Patrice, the emotional side is recognizing from me that, okay, the journey has started and this is a real journey, and whatever I need to do to adjust myself, I adjust myself. And you know what, I was reading something funny the other day, right? The funny side of menopause will not be available until the end of May. But I was reading something the other day, and this young lady, she said, what is the likelihood for you to start menopause and your last child going through puberty, right? There was the likelihood of that clash, right? Because they going through their own thing and you're going your own thing. And so one of the things I recognize, because I have a 15-year-old son that I love, hey MasterCard, I had to come to a place, and recognize Shay, sometimes when he is talking to me about his stuff and I having my moments where I need to exhale, I have to stop and I say, you know what, he really is saying, not that he doesn't love me, but he really understands what I'm going through. And then I had to pause and I said, but you know what, he's actually experiencing puberty as well.
Yeah.
He's looking at the pimples that is now on his face. He's looking at the fact that he's getting taller now, girls are looking at him. So I had to find an emotional balance there to recognize that, give him a break too. Because I'm doing my own thing. Because sometimes, and you know how it is as a mother when you're grooming and you're teaching, your boy child, because someday they're going to make somebody a husband. And so, you always want to put in and make sure that you're doing your part. But I had to find that balance, Trace, during this side of it, and recognizing that when I have my moments to just literally, I have a 24-hour thing that I do, and I give myself 24 hours, and I'm also a lot more sensitive to the sisters around us.
Yes.
Because
I think that is big for me too. I see it everywhere I go now.
Yeah, you have to recognize it. And if they're having a moment, sometimes I'll find myself, if they're having an encounter with someone else, I would find myself going over to the person that is probably giving them a hard time and just touching them and say, you know what, I hear what you're saying, but give this sister a break because she's really having a hard time. It's not just her being a certain way, because sometimes we can't control the impulse desires to actually to launch out or to get people to understand or even to raise our voice. All of this is a part of the decline of the sex hormones, and sometimes that mood swing is a natural thing.
Sometimes you hear
and that will take your emotions on a roller coaster.
Yes.
So for me, I had to recognize those things, not only with me, but when I'm talking to another sister and they having a hard day and I'm having a hard day and we supposed to do something, I say, you know something, let's not even worry about it. Let's just go with the flow. Like today in the show, you was having a hard day and I was having a hard day.
Yeah, it was.
And one of the first things we said tonight, we could just go
with the flow. Yeah, because it was like, I just, today is not a good day to do this.
Yeah.
But you know what, I thank God. Because both of us have been on the same page. We're committed to doing it. We're committed that whoever is out there that needs this information, you get it.
Yeah.
And so that helped me. Then when I walked through the door and saw you limping and in pain and saying you felt the same, it's like, you too? Right. I know for me, a part of this journey has been, I've become more empathetic with women on the journey. But like, it's not the emotional part. Here's what I recognize, and I think because weight has been a big thing with me. My daughter says to me, I have an issue with weight. Maybe, I forgot what she said. I have a fat issue or something
like that.
But I know women who've been slim all their life, and they've all of a sudden during this time they just. And so now, like, I see it, I want to tell the world, I want to tell women that you can help yourself. You don't have to stay that way. I mean, there's so much, and I hear them complaining. Like the sister I was just talking about, I'm talking to last week, I keep saying this week, but today's Monday. Last week. And, I mean, I feel bad for her because this girl is a gorgeous girl, loves to be well dressed. And her weight has come so much around here, like she doesn't even look like the same person.
Right.
And it's like I have this need to want to help.
Right. That's what we're doing.
We're helping. I want to help her lose the weight because I know what it does to you mentally.
Yeah. But that's what this is about. It's helping us to lose the weight as well.
Yeah. And what I find though is that trying to get people to know it though, and I think not just know it, but be the discipline. I think maybe for me and maybe for you, we're that much more disciplined or committed that there's certain things that are not just gonna happen. Just know. It's not putting on weight, getting fat. That's not up for debate, discussion. No, it's not.
No, it's not an option at all.
Yes, and so I think.
Remember when I was trying to box with one arm? And this arm couldn't come out?
Yeah.
Like these arms ain't getting fat.
Box this away. And sometimes that's what I want to share with women, because when I hear them fighting about the journey, crying about that aspect of the journey and what it's doing for them, how it's making them feel, I'm very sensitive. So I see all the women as I see them around the age putting on, and it's like I want to tell them, do you know why this is happening? You can help yourself. You know, but then not everybody is open and ready. So you have to work
gently.
Yeah. So that for me, that's been the emotional and mental part of it, and I don't know why I feel strong about that with others.
Yeah.
And also me dealing with it. I've come a long way in dealing with it. The biggest emotional hurdle for me was accepting that I was menopausal. But once I accepted it, I got on the bandwagon
of helping yourself.
Yes.
And unlike me, where I was fat. Patrice really was never fat, you really was never Patrice.
No,
Patrice was always petite and small and in shape, and Patrice's weight issues didn't start until menopause, really. Me, I was fat for a little while. I'm just saying.
You had a couple of children.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, I was still fat nonetheless, And I would say that culturally, right? The lady, she said to me, girl, this is my baby weight. And her son was about 14. Culturally, boy, we stop blaming them children, people. Just stop it.
As long as you cannot confront, or you cannot deal with what you don't confront.
Yes.
As long as you're blaming the weight,
And the
something
rain.
else.
And the cookies.
As long as you say I watched. I don't know if you remember one of your clients the other day. We all happened to be together. She was saying how busy she was,
Right.
that she couldn't exercise. Okay.
Okay, I remember.
Okay. And let me tell you something. Take as women. One of the things we cheat ourselves with is self-nurturing. We find the time to nurture everybody, and nothing's wrong with that. But also, you have to find a moment to self-nurture. You can't give what you do not have.
Yeah.
And if you keep emptying out yourself, you are going to run on empty, and it's going to affect all those around you. So taking a moment to do what it takes to nurture you, to fill you up, so that you can give, is how the formula works.
Yeah.
I feel strongly about that.
Yeah, and you know what, I understand, because we're on the other side and we're helping women, and we want to, you want to literally help everybody, and that's why we are doing a year-long show. When Patrice and I decided to embark on this show, we know our own personal journeys and stories would be able to help you, and that's why our hashtags is you and me and Sister Share, because when we do this show, we want you to share it, because there are other women that are going to this journey, and we don't want you to be alone, because even as Patrice and I learned over the years, I know culturally we think food, it's not necessarily a big deal and it isn't going to make that much of a difference, but I promise you the studies out there, the research out there, food does make a difference and it matters. And so when we think on a holistic approach of changing the way we see food, changing the way we eat food, changing the quality of food in our life, we have to start by, just small steps. We talked about it today, and even this Trigger 10 list is going to be available on our Facebook page after the show. So make sure you go over to Menopause, the Dialogue Facebook page. We're going to have that Trigger 10 list up there, and it's just a category of foods that is associated with triggering the symptoms that are associated with menopause. And as we do this show, a lot of symptoms, even when we talk about the more common ones, Patrice and I are always referring to some of the symptoms that a lot of women don't necessarily talk about, or they're experiencing and don't think it's associated with menopause. But we talked about the dry skin. We talked about vaginal dryness. We talked about pimples, hair loss, anxiety, heart palpitations, night sweat, hot flashes. We even talk sometimes some women experience body odor, itching because they're not using the right sanitary napkins. There's a lot of stuff that goes on with the symptoms that are associated with menopause and andropause. There was one of my male clients the other day. He said to me, Shay, I will do anything to get rid of this stomach. And when I had a conversation with him and I said to him, listen, do you recognize this isn't just normal weight gain? This is because you're going through andropause, which is midlife crisis. And he sat back and he said, what? And so just in that conversation alone, I was able to help him. And so when you see the mature man that are normally in their weight range and they all of a sudden have this extended arm, but they can't figure out, that's what's happening to you, boo-boo. You're going through andropause. So it's just not us. It's just not the female, it's the males as well. They struggle with it. It's just that they don't talk about it as much as we do. But food, diving deep into food today was for the sole purpose to get you to understand that the very thing that you have control over is making sure you have the right food in your environment. And I call it your eating and emotional environment, which is your home, because most of us working from home now.
Yes.
Make sure you have the right foods in there. I look at the good, better, best. You don't have to, sometimes people use the excuse, and this is a pet peeve for me, and I've learned how to become more empathetic towards it, because I'm saying, listen, if you could spend $200 on hair, but I have become a lot more empathetic. I want to say that. But my thing is, if you really want to live a better quality life, if you want to feel better, you have to make the investment in yourself. And that's really all it is. And when you even think of...
make it a priority.
Yes, a priority, and stay consistent. Yeah, that's it right there. And sometimes when we think about the cost, I promise you, the cost isn't a lot what we think it is. Yes, it's higher, but it isn't much higher than we think it is, because sometimes the difference between regular chicken and organic chicken can just be $3. And when you think of, wait a minute, just a $3 investment every time to start to feel better, I think it's worth it. What do you think, Patrice?
Yeah, you know what? It's the difference between feeling good and
Yes,
not feeling good.
Mhm.
It's the difference between sometimes being able to go to work and not being able to go to work.
Yes.
It's the difference between as you get older, you have these so much sickness, as opposed to as you get older, you're healthy and you're well. And nobody.
It's a difference. I had this funny thing. It's a difference between homicide and stay aside. You know, when you feel like, I heard someone. Yeah, it's a difference. Yeah,
It's a difference in the quality of life we
Yes.
live. And I learned that I have a cousin. She's dead. She died. She was a physician.
She dead.
No, she's dead. And when I say I have, I realized I said I have. And I remember before she died, and she's a physician and specialist, colon cancer. And I remember being by her bedside, and she wanted to go. She said, because this is no quality of life to live. I will always remember that.
Yeah.
And so we want to live as we get older. We want a quality
Yeah.
of life. You don't want to be being pushed around in a wheelchair.
Oh,
You don't want to have had a stroke and heart issues because you didn't take care of yourself. And there are things that we can do now. You have the power, do it. Take care of yourself. Choose the right quality of food. Like Shay said, the difference between a chicken that's been pumped up with hormones and antibiotics and one that hasn't. Maybe buying that piece of chicken may be a $3 difference, $4 difference.
It's worth
but
it.
get it, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
So Patrice, because we talk about foods, right? Let's end with this. What is probably one or two go-to foods that you know that have really helped you with any symptom that's associated with menopause that you want to say that people go out and buy this food, it's a good investment, what that food is?
A couple of them. One, bananas. Bananas I know has been good for me. Also, I like my chocolate, my dark chocolate.
So pure cacao.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Just chocolate. And cacao, yes. What I do, like when I need something sweet, I have my organic cacao, I have a banana, and I have my almond milk. And I put some
So
ice
what are those
in
foods you're telling them to buy? Because you're describing a whole dessert now. We just
Banana,
had the show.
the organic almond milk and cacao. And that makes a wonderful drink for you. And as far as foods are concerned, as much as we could get raw, honestly, that's the way to go. I'm not saying I always do it. I have my moments when I'm just pure raw machine. Then other times, but you know, that's how I try to do it now because it's better. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better. People my age, a lot of persons my age are dealing with all kinds of sickness. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not. And
You're
I don't
not
want
taking any
it.
medication.
No.
No. God is good, faithful. Yeah, on that note, Patrice just gave you a whole dessert menu. I just wanted 3 foods to help associated with menopause.
But I did the 3.
Yeah.
Dessert.
And she put it in the dessert, and she wasn't even thinking with palpitations. But you know what? That's why sisters always share. You know, I love you, Patrice.
Love you too, and thank you for the dark chocolate.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. So we'll see you again, and don't forget after the show we will have the Trigger 10 list. That list right on our Facebook page, Menopause the Dialogue. And if you're watching the show, please don't forget to follow us on Facebook and make sure you like and share this video. Also, go over to our YouTube and subscribe, and make sure you click that notification bell so when we come up next Monday, which is on the 20-something, I think it's the 2nd and the 4th Monday.
Yes, 2nd and 4th Monday.
Right, so this is the 2nd Monday. When we're here on the 4th Monday, you get a notification for the show. We usually end at 7:15, but we just want to say thank you so much for joining us on Menopause the Dialogue, and we'll see you next time.
Next time. God bless.